what is what, Jim? And this live stream, I'm going to be ranking our favourite Beatles songs from every studio album of theirs. I'm going to be doing that with Jacob Martin. That's why I said we. And I thought I'd start with this different view of me, but there we go. That's how it normally is. And here we got Jacob.
Oh, hey,
Hello,
Adam.
Jacob.
Uh, I apologize for being a little late as usual when what I normally am. When you told me the time, I got the time difference mixed up. When you said 7:30 your time, I was thinking that was 3:30 instead of
Right.
2:30. And then when you take me, I'm like, oh, is it time already?
Well, as long as you got your rankings sorted.
Oh, it's all sorted.
So you telling me how difficult you were finding it?
It was tricky. I was the hardest was the top five, and even the bottom was kind of hard too. It's like they're all really good songs, but like which one is like the least great of the great Beatles songs?
Mm-hmm. I didn't know you could have the pictures like this. I thought that was pretty cool. Looks like James
Yeah,
Bond.
yeah.
That flew it like this. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to do this live stream tonight. I was going to do one on Prince, but who was going to do it with? He was ill, so we're postponing it for next week.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on, even though this was a last minute thing.
Yeah, if we were going to do this, I wanted to do a live stream tonight. So I'm glad you can make it. It's such short notice.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on.
I thought this was a great time to do it now that you've heard
Yeah.
all the Beatles studio albums. Have
Yep, I did a series of Beatles reviews over on my channel. I think Jason was on them, Nick was on them, Scott from SoundLab Studios was on them, Brian Cam in the later part of them, and so I've listened to all 13 of the official studio albums.
have you heard the Past Masters?
I don't think I've heard the Past Masters in full, but I've heard like the big songs that are on there that were like some of the big singles that were released that weren't on any of the original albums. But I'm only ranking the songs from my favorite songs from the 13 studio albums.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I'm glad you included Yellow Submarine. I was worried you weren't going to include that one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Yellow Submarine. Yeah, it's my least favorite Beatles album, and it's a weird one because it's like half a Beatles album, half George Martin soundtrack, but it's considered canon by most people. So I'm like, well, I'll just put it on there just for the fun of it.
Yeah. So
So Adam, what are your favorite songs from every Beatles album?
shall I begin? Shall I go first?
Like if you want.
So I was thinking that you can go first.
Oh, okay.
You're all right with
Well,
that?
I think I'm gonna go through what my favorite songs on each Beatles album are, and then do the ranking from there. So, my favorite from their first album, "Please Please Me," is "Love Me Do." From With the Beatles, it's "All My Lovin'." From A Hard Day's Night, my favorite is "Can't Buy Me Love." From Beatles for Sale, Nick's favorite Beatles album, it's 8 Days a Week. From Help, my favorite is Yesterday. From Rubber Soul and My Life, my favorite from Revolver is Eleanor Rigby. From Magical Mystery Tour, Hello Goodbye. My favorite off of the White Album. I think I missed Sergeant Pepper. My favorite from Sergeant Pepper is A Day in the Life. My favorite from the White Album is While My Guitar Gently Weeps. My favorite from Yellow Submarine is Hey Bulldog. My favorite off of Abbey Road is Here Comes the Sun. And my favorite from Let It Be, and this was the hardest one when we reviewed that album. It was between Let It Be and The Long and Winding Road, but The Long and Winding Road takes the edge. So that's what I'm going to do on the ranking.
Cool.
All right. So what are yours?
I think I'm gonna review mine as we go along.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna try to keep the suspense going.
But haven't you sang all these songs in Jake Sings?
Uh, those 13 songs, yes. I did some bonus ones because I did Let It Be because I think technically Let It Be and Long and Winding Road, it's like a 1A, 1B type scenario. And
I know you did Hey Jude as well.
yeah, Hey Jude is actually my favorite Beatles song. It kills me that that's not on a studio album. That is an amazing song. I can listen to it on an album. I have the Beatles One compilation album, which has all their number one hits, and Hey Jude was on it. But it's crazy that it was not on a studio album. It should have been on the White Album instead of number nine. Number nine.
Got my dad in the chat. Yeah, I've been to Ellen Rigby's grave in Liverpool.
Yes, yeah, that's crazy that that was inspired by an actual grave that he saw.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, crazy story.
You ever been to Penny Lane?
Yeah, I've been to Penny Lane.
Okay.
I've been outside Paul's house.
Oh, nice.
I've been past Penny Lane, like sign a few times. It's all boarded up now.
Hmm.
So I think people have stolen the sign over the years.
Yeah, some people are crazy.
Because Paul McCartney signed it. Some
Uh,
people
uh,
just stealing the sign because of his autograph.
oh wow. Well, next time he should sign the sign, and they should put like a cage around it,
But it's
like
yeah,
with
it's
a
got like a
double
glass.
bypass lock to make it
It's got like a glass
impossible to break
cage over it
into
now.
it.
I think it's got like a glass cage over it now.
Yeah. All right.
So,
I guess I'll start the ranking.
yep.
All right, in last place, my least favorite of my favorite Beatles songs. Number 13, I'm gonna have to go with Hey Bulldog off of the Yellow Submarine album. Coincidentally, that's also my least favorite of the Beatles studio albums. This is a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's hard ranking these songs.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a lot to love about it, like that piano riff. I like kind of like the goofiness of John Lennon's vocals on the song. This is probably like one of the more over the top Beatles songs around this time. Uh, it's got a good groove to it. I've always enjoyed hearing it, even when watching the Yellow Submarine movie. I thought the Hey Bulldog scene was one of the best scenes in the movie. But it's one of those cases where, especially compared to some of the other songs, it's probably the least impactful of the Beatles songs on my list. But I still think it's a really fun song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been to barber shop as well. I was tempted to get back a haircut there, but I didn't need one when I went. So I'll get to my number 13. It's my favorite song with the Beatles. That's All My Loving.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I feel bad. It's my least favorite in the ranking, but one of them's got to be last. And for me, it's All My Loving. I think I just like the other songs better. I think the other songs are a bit more impactful for me as well. But it still is a classic. I love listening to that one. I think it was the last song that John Lennon ever heard. I think he heard it in the hospital that he was in.
Oh, was that like after he got shot?
Yeah.
Oh, I did
I think
not
it was
know
playing
that.
on the radio.
Wow.
So yeah, that's my number
I didn't know
13.
that. Well, my number 12 is also from With the Beatles, and my favorite song from that album also happens to be All My Lovin'. All My Lovin' isn't the best Beatles album. I think it's my second to least favorite Beatles album behind Yellow Submarine, but All My Lovin' is still a great song. A great indicator of Paul McCartney's talents as a singer songwriter. I love the catchiness of it, and I especially love the chorus behind it too. Oh my loving, I know made me true. Uh, but again, kind of like Hey Bulldog, it's like the other songs on the ranking are better. They're better crafted. Some of them are groundbreaking songs for its time. This one is just kind of a simple love song, but I still love it for what it set out to do. And yeah, the with the Beatles album wasn't the best, but All My Lovin' was easily like one of the highlights.
Well, my number 12 is from Beatles for Sale, but I want you to guess what it is. It's not 8 days a week.
It's not 8 days a week. Okay, I'm trying to think what it is. Is it I'll Follow the Sun?
Yeah, it's I'll Follow the Sun.
I think that was my second favorite from that album.
It used to be 8 days a week, but I think I've heard it too many times.
Yeah, I'll Follow the Sun's a good one.
It's also the shortest song on this ranking. It's not even 2 minutes long, I don't think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still really love it. I think it's a very strong song for him lyrically at that time as well. I think he wrote this like back in the 50s. I think he wrote this one.
Oh wow.
So it could have been it's crazy that it could have been on Please Please Me.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, if it was on Please Please Me, it probably would have been the best song on the album.
Maybe he could have had that instead of A Taste of Honey.
Taste of
Or, may,
Honey.
or maybe
Oh wait,
Boys. Yeah, maybe
more
Boys.
like A Waste of Money.
Yeah, I heard you say that before.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely fascinating.
That's a good one.
Cry Cry Baby, yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. I almost said a joke when you said guess what your favorite song on Beatles for Sale is.
It's not Mr. Moonlight.
As a joke, I almost said Mr. Moonlight or Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. Like those are the best Beatles songs. But my number 11 is my favorite song off Beatles for Sale, and my favorite's 8 Days a Week. Uh, that's a song I've heard a lot, but I still really like the song. Uh, I think it was a good song that fit what the Beatles was like at the time when they were trying to tour and record albums at the same time. And this was during the time they had their movie deal too. So the 8 days a week was very relatable because they were always on the go and it was a busy, stressful time. I think most people can relate to it still. Not maybe not in the same way the Fab Four went through, but it's like, oh, this is about the stresses of life, but yeah, it's about the stresses of life, and I do really appreciate that, and still trying to have a successful relationship at the same time. I love the harmonies on it. There's some good guitar work. Another great early single from the Beatles, but again, it's lower on the list because the other songs are better.
I think it's going to be like that a lot for this ranking. It's just which ones we like more.
Pretty much. It's gonna sound like a broken record on
But
a lot
I'm
of
still
these.
sticking with the early period. I've got my number 11 being from Please Please Me. It's the title track. Please Please Me.
That's your favorite? That's a good song.
Yeah. It's one of those Beatles songs that they've got to play at one of their tribute concerts. I think every Beatles tribute concert I've been to always play Please Please Me. It's always one of the first songs that gets played. Yeah, I really, really love it. I love the harmonica on it and the harmonies. And yeah, I think it's a classic Beatles song.
Yeah. Going into my top 10, number 10 is my favorite from Please Please Me, but my favorite is Love Me Do. Ever since I first heard the song, Shot Up is one of my favorite early Beatles songs. That song also has a great harmonic on it. And I love well, both John and Paul harmonize so well in that song, and both of them do a great job that I do forget who's actually singing the melody of the song because they both sound like they could have been the melody, but they still harmonize with each other so well. That's a very infectious love song. Again, I just like the other songs better. These are all some of my favorite Beatles songs.
Well, I'll get to my number 10, but it's from one of the later albums. It's my favourite song from the White Album, but it's not One Guitar Gently Weeps.
Oh, there's
It's
a
not
bunch of that.
Blackbird. It's not Blackbird either.
Those are my top two from that album. Let me think. What's another one? Back in the USSR.
It's close to that song. It's Dear Prudence.
Dear Prudence. Okay,
Track of the
that
White
one.
Album.
That's a pretty good deep cut there.
Yeah, I really love that one. I think it's got some of John's best vocals at that time as well. Lyrics. I love the instrumentation on it. It sort of builds up towards the end. That's probably my favorite part of the song. The song really starts really quiet and ends being quite in your face. All the instruments going sort of crazy, but it done in a really excellent way.
Yeah. I remember when we reviewed the White Album, Jason shared the backstory behind a lot of those songs because I think the Beatles were at some Maharishi type thing over in India because George Harrison was into that.
I think this was one of the songs that was written there. Yeah.
And half the ones John Lennon wrote were like his whole frustration with the whole thing because he thought it was stupid.
But at least you got some good songs out of it.
Yep, like Dear Prudence and Julia was a good one too that he wrote. All right, well, my number 9 is. I knew that was coming up. Is my favorite song off of A Hard Day's Night, which is probably the most famous scene in the movie.
It's my favorite scene in the movie.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah.
Which the first time I heard Can't Buy Me Love actually was when I saw the movie for the first time. And I just remember that scene where the Beatles were like running around goofing off when they were taking a break from recording and performing. And I just thought it was the most memorable song on the album. Again, this is another song that showed what Paul McCartney was capable of as a vocalist and a songwriter. It's pretty good guitar work on here. I love the way he screams his vocals in the middle of it. Like after he sings like "Money Can't Buy Me Love," he's like, "Wow!" Like he like went on Little Richard there, which I thought was awesome. This is another like one of the great Beatles earworms, especially during this early period, because I think the later period of the Beatles where they were trying to do groundbreaking new sounds and experiment. The early songs were a lot more simplistic and were more in that classic rock and roll sound, like what Elvis was doing, but with harmonies. And I love both periods for various different reasons, but one of the reasons I love the early period is because of how big of the earworms the earlier songs were. And Can't Buy Me Love, I think, was one of the biggest examples of that and why I love the song so much.
This is a really good one. But I'm going with that album now. My number 9. It's a song "And I Love Her."
That's a good one.
With another Paul ballad here. Yeah, I really love that one. Love the guitar playing on it. Yeah, I think it's just an excellent song that I never get tired of listening to. It's always been my favorite song from the album ever since I've heard it for the first time.
Yeah, that is a good one. I think of the slower ones. I think I like "If I Fell" a little better. Uh, I love
But
the what Paul and John do, like harmony wise. Very similar to what to the Everly Brothers on that one, which is pretty cool.
I love the scene that both those songs get played in the movie.
Yeah,
So I'd like to rewatch that film at some point. It's been a while since I've seen it.
yeah. I think of the Beatles movies, "A Hard Day's Night's" easily the best one.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll watch Help again.
Yeah, I thought "Help" was awful. I know there's a fan base for it, but them trying to do a Beatles movie and a James Bond parody, it doesn't work.
I think my favourite part of that film was probably Ringo. I quite like Ringo in that film.
Yeah. The only like salvageable thing in that movie for me is when the movie stops and the Beatles sings. Like the soundtrack in Help, I would argue is better than the soundtrack in A Hard Day's
Yeah,
Night, but the movie itself is terrible. Have you seen Yellow Submarine, the animated movie?
I've not seen that. No.
Uh it's kind of divisive in our music group because there's some people who like it and other people hate it. I'm in the camp that likes it. Even though
I've never been able to get access to it. I might have to buy it on DVD.
yeah, yeah, I bought the DVD of it.
Right, so we're on
So,
number eight.
number 8. This is my favorite song off of Magical Mystery Tour, and my favorite is "Hello Goodbye." This is what's funny is when I first heard this song, I thought the song was annoying. Like I thought it was one of the stupidest Beatles songs I've ever heard. With the whole "You say yes, I say no, you say go, or you say stop, I say go, go, go." I'm like, what is this? What's with this compare and contrast type singing? And it sounds like I'm watching something out off of Sesame Street. It was stupid. But that was when I was a cynical teenager when I first heard the song. But the older I got, the more I listened to it, and I'm like, you know what? The lyrics are actually smarter than what they're given credit for. It's like contrasting the brokenness in a relationship. Like I say goodbye, you say hello. It's like I think that's what they're trying to go for on a deeper level. But there's some cool vocal work on there that's really cool. I like the guitar on there, and I think what helps the song more so is actually the end of the song, which is weird saying that the end's the best part. But in this song, it definitely is. Like after the main melody is done, uh, the song literally pauses for 2 seconds, and then Ringo's drums kicks in, and then they all go, "Hello, hello." I'm like, that's when the song becomes really awesome. I like it all builds up to something really fantastic at the end, and it becomes this fun little pop rocky type song in the later period of the Beatles. It's it's crazy. I think this and Yellow Submarine were like the two songs that really grew on me from the Beatles, and this ended up being my favorite song on the Magical Mystery Tour album over songs like Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields Forever, and even All You Need Is Love, which says something. I've grown to really, really appreciate this song, and this is one of the biggest Beatles earworms.
Yeah, it is a really good one. But one of my favorite song from Yellow Submarine. But it also appears in Magical Mystery Tour. That's All You Need Is Love.
All right, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, another classic Beatles song. It starts off being like the French national anthem,
Hmm.
because the song was for I can't remember what it was. It was one of the first things to be televised. I think, but one of the first things to be televised in, internationally. But yeah, I really love it. I love the lyrics and the vocals, but I also love that it has a bit of a call back to She Loves You on it as well.
Yeah, I love that about the song. I think some of the Rolling Stones, I think, were backing vocalists, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Graham Nash was as well.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. You don't hear about stuff like that, and then when you research it, like, oh, that makes the song even cooler.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a favor since the Beatles some of the Beatles were backing vocalists on a Rolling Stone single called what's it called? Dandelion. That was the name of the song. I don't know if you've heard that one.
No, I've not heard that one.
Yeah, it wasn't on one of their albums. It was released during the time the Stones did that psychedelic album that did not go over well, the Satanic Majesty's Request, which I don't think is a particularly good album. But if that Dandelion song was on the album, it'd be one of the best songs.
Mm-hmm. Right, so
I'm at number 7. This is my favorite song off of Revolver. And my favorite is Eleanor Rigby. Definitely one of the most haunting songs the Beatles ever did. And that's a very short song too. It's just over 2 minutes. I mean, you could have added a whole minute of this song with more like if it had like a guitar solo or if it had like an additional. They repeated the chorus a couple more times. It still would have been great. But even with what we got, it cuts to the point. It's a very haunting story about this lonely old woman that nobody cared for, and she died lonely. So it's a very sad song, and it's crazy that uh, Paul saw an actual grave site with this woman's name on it and wrote a song about it. And that just tells you how gifted of a songwriter he is. The harmonies on the song are beautiful with the chorus. There's a good violin work on it, which is pretty unique for a Beatles song. Uh, this was definitely one of the more experimental things they were doing around this time. Revolver's one of their best albums. The only reason it's not in my top 5, even though I wanted to put this in my top 5, is the top 5 are like some of their heaviest hitters, and just some things just had to be left off the top 5. And sadly, this is one of them.
It's such my dad's favorite Beatles song.
Oh, his favorite Eleanor Rigby?
I think because we actually went there.
Oh, okay.
Rigby's grave. It's probably to do with it.
Oh, have you ever heard the Aretha Franklin cover of Eleanor Rigby?
No, I didn't know she did cover it.
She did cover it. Nick from Townsend 505 showed me at one time. It's an awful cover, which is sad because you think Eleanor Rigby would do something good out of it, but no, it didn't work out. And she tried to make it tried to have a more soulfulness to it, and then she tweaked the lyrics to where she's Eleanor Rigby, where she's like, "Ooh, I'm Anna Newry." I'm like, "Oh no." Oh no! That ruins the sadness of the song that Paul McCartney had in mind.
I've heard the Alice Cooper cover of Eleanor Rigby.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know he covered Eleanor Rigby.
But I think he did that. I think it was about 10 years ago.
Oh, okay. So it's more recent. It wasn't like during his prime.
No. But my number 7, we're going with your favorite Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's. It's your favorite song from it as well, A Day in the Life.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. A lot of people consider it the Beatles' best song. I can see why. I think it's got some of the best lyrics. And I love the instrumentation, especially the orchestration part, which I didn't like at first. I thought it ruined the song, but now I think it adds to it. And I love the ending as well. When you got loads of people doing the same key on the piano. I don't think it was loads of people, but it's still really cool parts of the song. Yeah, I really love it.
Yeah, that's a good choice. My number 6, the one that was so close to making my top 5, is my favorite off of the White Album. Wild Honey Pie. Honey Pie, Honey Pie, Honey
It begins with the
Pie.
same letter.
No, no, it's definitely not Wild Honey Pie. No, my actual favorite from the White Album is While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which is may just as very well be arguably one of the best George Harrison written songs from the Beatles. There's another George Harrison song that's actually in my top 5, so I don't think it's my actual favorite George Beatles song, but it's definitely up there. It's a contender. There's some excellent guitar work on here, which was done by Eric Clapton, who has a killer guitar solo on this song. Definitely one of the more haunting Beatles songs. Probably one of the saddest songs they've ever done, but it still is a very investing song because of George Harrison's vocals. This is one, like, even when listening to that entire White Album, it's like there was only one song on there that was an easy favorite of mine, and it's this song. And I love the variety on the White Album, but While My Guitar Gently Weeps is on a whole different ballpark.
Yeah, it's what one of George's best. So my number 6 is my favorite song from Revolver. But it's not on the rugby, but it is from the first half of the album.
Is it Yellow Submarine?
It's Here, There, and Everywhere.
Oh, okay. The song that inspired no wait, that Revolver came out after Pet Sounds. So this was Paul McCartney's answer to Pet Sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think him trying to do because if I read this was Paul McCartney trying to do his own What God Only Knows.
Yeah, it's like the Beatles, God Only Knows, with those harmonies. And, yeah, I love lyrics. I love the very simple but effective guitar playing. It's just all my favorite Beatles. Deep cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that one.
It's kind of cool. It seems like on your ranking, the one your favorite tends to be a lot of the deep cuts. I think mine are primarily some of the hit songs. I think they do have some good deep cuts.
Yeah. So now we're on to our top 5.
Number 5.
What albums haven't you mentioned so far?
Okay, so far I've not mentioned Help, Let It Be, Sergeant Pepper, Rubber Soul, and Abbey Road.
So I'm going to guess your number 5 is. I'm going to go with your favorite song from Help.
No. My number 5 is my favorite song from Rubber Soul, which is In My Life. Yes. This and Come Together are probably my 2 favorite Beatles songs from John Lennon. Come Together, spoiler alert, is not my favorite song off of Abbey Road. So, but I wanted to put one in this ranking, and that's In My Life, which is my favorite from from Rubber Soul. Got my albums mixed up. This is a beautiful love song. I find it so crazy that John Lennon would spend all these interviews criticizing some of these sentimental Paul McCartney ballads. Like, I know he wasn't a fan of When I'm 64, for instance, that Paul wrote for Sergeant Pepper. Yet this song is just as sentimental and beautiful as some of Paul McCartney's tracks. Maybe a little better than what Paul did, but this is still a great, lovely song in its own life about the special people that define your life. And I love that John really tapped into that. There's this cool little, I think, piano type solo in there. which I think George Martin did. That was
Yeah.
really cool. The harmonies on it are spectacular, and John's falsetto at the end is amazing, where he's like, "I love you more." Yeah, this is one I kind of slept on for a long time, but then when I listened to Rubber Soul, the album, for the first time, and this was easily my favorite song on that album, I'm like, yeah, this is an amazing Beatles song. It shot up to being one of the best of the best. It's that good.
Well, I mentioned Rubber Soul a bit later on, but my number 5 is my favourite song from Magical Mystery Tour. It's Strawberry Fields Forever.
Okay, I mean, that's a pretty good choice as well.
It used to be All You Need Is Love, but now it's Strawberry Fields Forever. I think it's happened. I've been to Strawberry Fields several times. Yeah, I think it's got some of John's best lyrics, and I really love his vocals on it, and all the different technical things he did on the song. But I also really love the music video for it as well. One
Yeah,
of the first music videos ever, really.
yeah, that one, and I think several of the songs from that album had music videos. Strawberry Fields, Penny Lane, and Hello Goodbye. I know all had music videos.
And I really like the ending of the song. As soon as you think it's over, it then comes back on with this with this orchestration. Well, not orchestration, but these different horns that you can hear. I can sort of hear him saying, I think it's cranberry sauce. But a lot of people thought he was saying I buried Paul, which is all to do with it. Paul is dead. Sort of rumor that was going around.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah, it's one of my favorite Beatles songs.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
All right, my number 4 is my favorite song off of Let It Be. And I think I said this already. I could have made this a tie between Let It Be the song and The Long and Winding Road, but but to quote the guy from the movie Highlander, there can be only one. I, and The Long and Winding Road beats Let It Be by a hair. And I think the main reason why I gave it to The Long and Winding Road is this being on the last Beatles album. This song does feel like the end of an era. And I think it adds just so many emotions to that when you're dealing with the end of a journey. Kind of a great journey that the Beatles were on. Great albums, great songs, one of the most celebrated bands in history. But then it all comes to an end by the time you get to 1970. And I think it's a very lovely track. Uh, I know people are divided over the additional strings that Phil Spector added to the original release of The Long and Winding Road compared to what Paul did. I don't care. I love the strings that Phil added to the song. I think it just helps elevate the emotion of the song with that wall of sound effect that he was so good at. And yeah, this is one of the best Beatles songs for a reason. It definitely tugs at the heartstrings. Let It Be the great song too, but The Long and Winding Road is another one of the all-time great Beatles songs. And a great, and I would argue this should have been the album closer on Let It Be instead of Get Back, but it is the album closer on the Beatles one, and it works great in that. But yeah, it's a great song either way.
well, I'm going with the song from Let It Be. It's the song Let It Be. Yeah, it's
That's your
always been
number
one of my
4.
favorite. Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite Beatles songs. But I not only love what Paul's doing on it, but I love what George Harrison's doing on it. It's got my all-time favorite guitar solo.
It's a
Yeah, I
great
really love the
song.
guitar solo. So I did prefer it, the album version than the single version. It's not the same without that guitar playing, but I love Paul's vocals on it. And Love the lyrics. Some of his best lyrics. I want this one. But I love Long Winding Road as well. That's another one of my favorite songs from the album. But let it be. It's always been my favorite song from that album.
They're both good.
So I don't think you mentioned it's Help You number 3 for the album.
My favorite song from Help is number 3, and I know it's a favorite song from a lot of people. I know Jason the Old Millennial. I don't know if he's watching this, but I know it's his favorite Beatles song. I think his favorite song in general, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it
And
is.
that is Yesterday is in my top 3. And yeah, it's one of those songs that's like, what's there that needs to be said? I think it's one of the most covered popular songs in history.
Definitely.
And it's one of the more simplistic songs. Like, I think all it is Paul McCartney and a guitar and some strings, and that's it. But it's a very poignant song about where you're at right now is not the best, but you long for better times that happened yesterday. And it's a very relatable song. I think this was one of the again, this showed Paul's continued growth as a songwriter, which I think helped out when I think he became more of the leader in the Beatles in the later half. I think in the early half, I think it was more John, but I think in the later it was more Paul. And you really started to see why Paul had the upper edge, especially when writing songs like this. And the fact that the song's been covered so many times and still highly talked about to this day shows that this is one of the best Beatles songs.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna repeat what you said. Because my number 3 is also my favorite song from Help, and that's Yesterday. I've not really got too much else to really add.
Yeah,
It's
apparently the song almost could have been Bacon Eggs.
Yeah, Scrambled Eggs.
The scrambled eggs.
I don't think it would have been Jason's favorite song.
Yeah, but it's crazy. I think some of his best songs, I think he wrote after having a dream. I think Yesterday was one of them, and I think the
Let It
other was
Be.
Let It
Yeah,
Be. Yeah,
I
and
just love both
he
his
had a
songs.
dream of his mom.
Yeah. So, your number 2
My number
is it?
2 is my favorite song off of Abbey Road.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be.
There's a lot of great songs on Abbey Road. Come Together, Something, Old Darling, the medley at the end, particularly the stretch from Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight in the end. Excellent stuff. But those are not my favorite songs off of Abbey Road. For me, it's Here Comes the Sun. This was one of the first songs that got me into the Beatles as a kid. The first time I ever heard the song, I think somebody sang it on American Idol, Beatles Week. And then it was covered in B Movie by Sheryl Crow. Her version's okay, not near as good as the Beatles, but still got me into the song when it first came out. And then I heard the actual song. It's like, yeah, this song is awesome. I'm a sucker for good harmonies in any genre, and this song has some of the best vocal harmonies in any Beatles song. It's such a chill song. The acoustic guitar work that's on the song, and I think it's a really good song. It's kind of funny how this song and Yesterday are kind of back to back. Yesterday is Longing for Better Days, and Here Comes the Sun is Better Days. So
Yeah.
there you go. It's a good 1-2 punch. Yeah, this is a great song. It's definitely one of the most infectious Beatles songs, and yeah, it's one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah. It's the most streamed Beatles song. I think called Spotify is the most streamed song.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That's a good song to be the most streamed. Can't go wrong with that.
So my number 2 It's from Rubber Soul. I'm gonna go with In My Life as well.
That's a good one.
It's my second favorite song of all time. So yeah, it's just one of those just perfect songs. Everything about it, whether it's the vocals or the lyrics, or that piano sort of part in the middle of the song. Yeah, I think it's just one of their all time greatest songs. There's nothing else that really needs to be said about it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So we both got our number one being our favorite Beatles album as well.
Yep. And my favorite Beatles album is Sgt. Pepper, Lonely Hearts Club Band. And my favorite song off of that album, it's also Adam's favorite from that album, which is the album closer, A Day in the Life. This song, the word masterpiece tends to get overused a lot by a lot of people when talking about music and movies and video games and stuff like that. But if there was one Beatles song I could argue is a true blue masterpiece, masterwork of a song, it's A Day in the Life. This is up there as one of the best Beatles songs. Very experimental. It's interesting because you got both John and Paul singing this song.
Mm-hmm.
And both seem to really kind of go against each other almost in a way because when they sing, they both sing so differently. John sings the majority of the song with the I read the news today, oh boy. And then it picks up a little bit in the middle with Paul singing where there's like this catchy little piano section. And Paul's like, I get up, get out of bed. I didn't really think much of this at the time. Like, I wasn't really a dissector of the lyrics of this song, but Scott from SoundLab Studios made an excellent point, and I think this is a good way to interpret this song. It's two people's views of going about the day and how it all depends on your mood. John Lennon is more cynical about life, and so he starts off with reading the news and being so glum and depressed. And while in Paul's section, he's going for his day to day life with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
So that's because Paul seems to be a more chipper guy compared to John. So I think that's kind of a good way of looking at the song. But my favorite thing about this song is the production. I love the orchestra build up. First, when it transitions from John's section to Paul's section in the middle. And then at the very end, it's done again. And even when I was compiling this list, the main reason I chose this as number one, and this was actually kind of an easy choice to make this number one. I put this number one mainly for the final chord at the end. When I heard that final chord is probably the coolest sound in any song I've ever heard. Where it got that big and it goes on for like a full minute and they hold that until like the note finally dies off. And it goes on for like at least a full minute. And I would especially if you have like good speakers or good headphones when listening to the song, you sit there and you listen to it, and it's like, oh, goosebumps are going down my arms. It's it's amazing what they were able to pull off there.
That's probably the best part of the song.
Yeah,
boom. Yeah.
So it's a fantastic song. I guess you could compare this. This kind of predates some of those experimental songs where they have different styles all throughout it. Like I know this predates what Led Zeppelin did with Stairway to Heaven and what Queen did with Bohemian Rhapsody and what Billy Joel did with Scenes from an Italian Restaurant and Meatloaf with Paradise by the Dashboard Light, among others. So this song was definitely ahead of the curve, and it's kind of like the prototype for some of those other songs sung by other artists. So it's definitely one to give credit where credit is due. And for my money, A Day in the Life, my favorite Beatles song, out of all my favorites from each Beatles album.
So I'm assuming it's your second favorite Beatles song.
I've never really gone through what my if I had to do favorite Beatles song. Like "Hey Jude's" my favorite Beatles song, but "A Day in the Life" is definitely up there. Maybe that's number 2 now. I guess you could say that.
But my favorite Beatles song, my favorite song of all time, it's from the Abbey Road album. I'll give you a guess as to what it is.
I think I remember you saying this one time. Aren't you really big on the medley part of the album from
Yeah,
Golden Slumbers to the end?
yep, that's what it is. Golden Slumbers, carry the weight in the end. Yep, it's my favorite piece of music. I love it. Start with Golden Slumbers. I love Paul's vocals on that. Probably his best vocal performance. And one of my favorite vocal performances of all time. I love the orchestration on that. I sort of wish he sang the chorus the second time on that one. So he only sings the chorus once. And then it moves on to carry that weight. Got all the Beatles singing together. But you can definitely hear Ringo the most on that one.
Yeah.
And then you got the end with some of my favourite sort of guitar riffs, and it's sort of got George, John, and Paul sort of battling out on their guitars. And of course, you've got Ringo with his brilliant drum solo. Love the line. I love the line, and in the end, love the love you take is equal to love you make. And yeah, I love the ending of that whole song. And that's my favorite song of all time. So yeah, I'm glad we managed to do this ranking. It definitely wasn't an easy one.
No. But that was fun. You got me thinking about how to rank these songs. It took me a good 10, 15 minutes
Yeah,
to figure out how to get these songs ranked.
I've had the ranking for a while, but it's taken me sort of a few years really to perfect it.
You can't really
Yeah,
these rankings aren't really it's hard to perfect something like this because you're dealing with one of the best bands in music history with the Beatles,
and
who had
it's constantly changing.
consistently great songs from their early period to their later period.
Yeah, it's only the thing I perfected it. No, I'm changing that song. Change that song around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe we should come back and do a ranking of like or ranking all the worst songs from every Beatles album and what's the best of the worst.
like I could quickly do that now.
Oh,
But I'm
really?
not sure. I'm not
I
sure I
don't.
could rank them, but I can reveal my least favorite from all of them.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. Yeah, you share yours real fast.
Yeah, I'll just reveal my least favorite from each one.
Okay.
So for, yeah, we go through them. So please, well, just do it in this order here. So Sergeant Pepper's. Oof. So I think we're beginning with the toughest one here. Actually, I'm going to go with fixing a hole.
Mm.
I still think that one's pretty great. I'm going Rubber Soul now. It's gonna be right. It's gonna be right for your life.
Oh yeah.
I love the vocals and the instrumentation. It's just
It's,
those lyrics.
it's a weird song. Yeah. Oh, I'd rather kill you, little girl, than sleep with another man.
No, with Abbey Road, it's Maxwell Silverhammer.
Yeah.
Help, Dizzy Miss Lizzie. I still think those ones I mentioned are pretty great. Hard Day's Night. Oof. I think we're gonna go with When I Get Home.
Is that the one that has the "Love you till the cows come home" line?
Yeah, I think so.
We poked fun of that in our group.
Yellow Submarine. Oof. I'm actually gonna go with one of the songs that isn't an instrumental. It's it's all. Oh, I think I'm gonna go with Only a Northern Song.
Okay.
I still like it. Magical Mystery Tour. I'm probably going to go with. It's either Flying or Blue Jay Away. But I think I'm going to go Blue Jay Away.
Yeah, that one's a weird one.
It's too creepy for me. We'll go with the Beatles. Probably not a second time. And please me. Oof. I'm probably going to go with. Boys.
Yeah, Boys was
I
bad.
think it's pretty good though.
Oh, you liked Boys?
Well, it's Woody's favorite, but I still like it.
I hated it. Oh, I like the Boys. I thought it was so cringe.
My least favorite Beatles for sale. It's going Mr. Moonlight.
Mr. Moonlight.
I like it. I still like it though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Revolver. Oh, Revolver's probably the hardest one. I feel bad's my least favorite, but it's Yellow Submarine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to hate that song for the longest time because I thought it was too childish. But then I got into like the infectious earworm factor of the song, and now I love it. So, all right.
Well, the Beatles' White Album. It's called Revolution 9.
Yeah.
And let it be. I'm gonna go with Dig It. If you're not including Dig It or Maggie May, then I'll probably say For You Blue.
Oh, I like that one.
I still like it, but
Yeah, that
there's a lot of amazing songs in the album.
yeah
That's just not one of them for me.
is that all of them?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my least favorite.
Overall, my least favorite is Revolution 9.
Yeah, I think that's easily the worst Beatles song. But if I wanted to go through the worst on my end, Please Please Me, I think Boys is awful, but I think A Taste of Honey is worse.
Taste of Honey.
Oh, Taste of Honey.
I can imagine Winnie the Pooh singing it.
I think it would have been better if Winnie the Pooh sang it.
I think it would have been better if he sang it.
Let's see. With the Beatles, my least favorite is their cover of Money, That's What I Want. I didn't think that one worked. Hard Day's Night. I think I'm going to go with When I Get Home as well. Just because of that weird line about loving you till the cows come home. Beatles for Sale. I think the worst song on that album. As much as I don't like Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby, that's a terrible album closer. But I think what's even worse than that is the mashup of Kansas City and Hey, 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 Hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
That one was. I love the original Kansas City, but Paul singing it in that style mixed with whatever the Hey, 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 Hey was. No, it was terrible.
There are quite a lot of hey heys in that one.
All right, my least favorite from Help. Trying to going from my ranking, I added some of the additional non-album singles. I forgot which one was actually on the album. But I think I'm going to go with. Was It's Only Love? Was that on the album?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with It's Only Love. I thought that one missed the mark as a love song. That and Dizzy Miss Lizzy are my bottom two. Rubber Soul actually had You Won't See Me as my least favorite, with Run for Your Life just above it. But I do love that album, though. My least favorite from Revolver, the hot take, I don't like Tomorrow Never Knows.
I'm going. I'm joking. Yeah, I didn't like it at first. It did take me a while to really like that one.
Okay.
Now it's in my top 100 Beatles
songs. Maybe the song will grow on me the more I hear it, but for now I'm like, I don't get it. Sergeant Pepper. Technically, last place is the Sergeant Pepper's reprise, but if I'm not counting that, I'll say Fixing a Hole is my least favorite. And then my least favorite for Magical Mystery Tour is Flying. Blue Jay Way is just above it, so those are my bottom two. The White Album, Revolution 9, followed by Why Don't We Do It in the Road. Those songs were terrible.
And of course, got Wild 25.
Yeah.
It's one of them as well.
Yeah. I also don't care for Revolution 1. That slow bluesiness does not work with what they were trying to do with especially the lyrical content of the song. I like the single version much better. Yellow Submarine. I'll only just count the 6 Beatles songs. The weakest of those 6, I still really like it, but I think the weakest is only an word song. Abbey Road. I'm going with Sun King as the weakest. I still like it though. And Let It Be. I guess Dig It technically, but if you don't count that or Maggie May, I'm gonna say Dig a Pony.
Ooh, Dig a Pony.
Which
Or was it Dig It?
I think, well, Dig It is the worst, but if I didn't count it or Maggie May, it'd be Dig a Pony, which that one's just okay.
I've always liked the song Maggie May. I've always quite liked that. It's only 30 seconds of them joking around.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me because I'm like, what's on there isn't bad. It just feels like an incomplete song.
Yeah.
And also, this wasn't on any of the albums, but actually, I will say, like I said, Revolution 9 is the worst song, but to me, the second worst Beatles song. Not on any album. I think it was the B side, the Let It Be.
Is it You Know My Name?
You Know My Name, look up the number is awful.
You Know My Name.
I don't even know what they were thinking on that one.
Yeah, it's one of those so bad it's good songs for me.
And that was the last thing Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones did. He plays a random sax solo at the very end of the song.
Does he? I gotta hear that again now.
I'm like, what? Why'd you get him on here?
I will play it after this now.
It's a terrible song.
That's probably the Beatles song I've heard the least. I've only heard it about twice. Wait, I'm probably gonna leave it here. I appreciate everyone watching. My dad leaving a comment. Daniel saying the Cranberry Cry is his favourite from the White Album. Do you have any final words before we conclude this?
Well, again, thank you for having me on your channel. It's been fun going through the Beatles, sharing our favorites from each album. It's been very enjoyable.
Yeah, it has been. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it if you leave a like on this live stream. Until next time, peace and love and ciao.